Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. In this episode, we're going to re-examine the recently released video of Nichol Kessinger. It is 3 hours, 33 minutes, almost 34 minutes long. We're really going to spend this video examining the last 13, 14, 15 minutes, the very end of that video. Now, if you know how people talk, if you know how people think, often when, especially when you have a confrontational type of interaction with people, it is towards the end when something is sort of winding down that people often reveal what they're really thinking. They're kind of a bit more casual, familiar. There's a sort of a sense of relief and the stress levels drop a bit. And that is often when people reveal, something about themselves that is more kind of personal and intimate. And that is absolutely the case at the end of this 3.5 hour session. It is really in the last 15 minutes that we really get a sense of what Nichol Kessinger is really thinking and feeling. But the question I want to ask you guys is, what do you think the two men in that room, what do you think their feelings are towards Nichol Kessinger? And obviously, I mean, in terms of blaming her, do you think that they blame her in the same way that you blame her? And that is the thing I want you to just pay attention to as we go through this video. We are going to go through it in a way that's a bit different to the previous video. We're not going to spend so much time analyzing body language as just listening to what is being said by the people in the room. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and let's get started.
People tried to call me. I heard. Did they find those little girls yet? And I was looking for them. And they thought, or they knew where they were at. You don't know yet? Because you've been in here with me.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I find the whole thing very weird. If the close, as much as you told me that he was as normal as he was, but yet some very close friend would call within a couple of hours of her not answering the door, or what was it?
Well, I think she was like on meds or something. Like, so I think she wasn't concerned
but to
about
call
Chris.
But to call the police within just like the same day, and yet he acted normal on this end, that is weird.
Yeah.
There's two different lives there or something.
Oh, there's definitely two different lives there. That's why sometimes I have to I feel like when he's like, well, what did she, if people are like, what did he say about her? And it's just like, I don't even know if I want to say it, because who knows if that's what's really happening. I mean, maybe not.
Molly called me back, so we'll call her tomorrow.
Okay, I think I might need to approach Anadarko. I really don't want to go to work tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to just take the week off and then maybe we can sort things out.
We'll call her tomorrow.
Okay, I think I might need to approach Anadarko. I really don't want to go to work tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to just take the week off and then maybe we can sort things out on the weekend, and then I can reach out to my supervisor and EAP or whatever.
Yeah, you need a little sleep and some time.
Yeah, you definitely need some sleep. Don't drive tonight. Yeah.
I'm going to drive her home and then all the way back.
I'll walk you guys down.
You're gonna get. Yeah,
You need to use the restroom first, Pumpkin?
No, which is crazy because I've drank so much water today.
I really, really do appreciate you being well.
So you may not have paid attention to the fact that this one particular interrogation lasted over 3.5 hours. So that's 3.5 hours, one session where she's speaking to the authorities at length. She doesn't ask to cut the interview short. She doesn't ask to leave for any reason. She sits there and answers questions. She also doesn't say, I don't really want to answer that question, I'm not comfortable. She speaks quite frankly about her concerns about losing her job right at the end. And what I played you there is right at the end. We're going to backtrack slightly in the next clip. But basically what is being communicated there is firstly that they can see that she's very, very tired. And they say that, she shouldn't even drive. She's so tired. And the other thing that I think is quite interesting is in this last minute or so, she actually asks about the little girl. She asks, are they okay, right? And bear in mind, at this point, it wasn't clear where Shanann was or the girls. I mean, we look back in time knowing the outcome. She didn't know the outcome even then. The children and Shanann were found kind of deceased. I think it was that night. I think it was the night very late on the 16th, early on the 17th, right? They were still actually looking for them. And so this was part of kind of this active investigation where they were talking to Chris, they were talking to the mistress, and they were looking for the remains. All of it was going on at the same time. And you didn't have the mistress saying, I'm not ready to talk to you yet. She gave multiple interviews, even though she was really, really tired. And now let's go on. We're going to backtrack a little bit and deal with a kind of a longer section and just see what we get from that. Again, what I want you to look out for is what you think the men think about her in terms of the situation. Do they blame her? Are they disgusted with her? Do they think that she's responsible for committing a murder? How do they actually feel about it?
I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose my job over this.
No, you're not gonna. Why would you lose your job?
I don't know, because I feel like people are going to just complain about being uncomfortable with working with me. Like, I am not going to have any respect from anybody there. I think I will have, like, 2 people that still...
You really didn't do anything wrong.
I had an affair with a married man who lied to me and made me believe that he really wasn't, like, as married as I think he was. But the media is not going to be so kind to let everybody know that. I think people are going to think I'm like the reason that he went off the deep end.
That's probably a fair statement. I would probably agree with you to some effect, but if these people you know them at work, then
and the company will
protect
the company
you at
will
some point.
Buffer that as much as they can, because if not, it'd be chaos amongst employees, and they can't have that.
I'm just so sad.
It's just
like,
not
this
good
is
in
like
their best
the
interest.
job of all jobs I've ever had in my life, and
Really?
I fucked it up.
Well, so you've been out in the field. What, you've been home 3 months of the year, on an average, in staggered amount, out in the middle of nowhere, on oil rigs. This little thing was out hanging on oil rigs, and now they got her an environmental where she's able to clean up stuff.
Right.
And it's a hot job, man. It's just a hot job, and
I
mean, would you advise
wouldn't
me
start.
talking to
I
like
can't
my
give you
head
legal
higher up?
advice. Maybe the best thing to do on that is talk to your EAP, whoever the employees assistance people are. They're anonymous. They know all your HR rules. They know all your policy and procedure stuff. And how can I mitigate this?
Fair
and also,
question.
your problem too is not just. Is this going to become an environment where you can't work? So you have to call those people and say, I don't want this to happen, so how do we take care of it? I want to continue to work for you guys. I love my job, whatever. Just be proactive. I don't know, your boss is on site.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I don't know.
I think that's a personal decision you have to make.
Yeah,
but I
mean,
don't
I didn't
think-
even think about talking to them at all, but I keep thinking about it. I'm like, man, when my name gets out in the news, this is about to be crazy.
No,
like,
I
I had
do
people calling me all day. Like, my office mate would not shut up. She just called me today, and she was just like, oh my God, did you read this article, and what did you think? And oh my God, and this, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk about this. Please leave me alone. And like, it was really overwhelming. And my project manager called me, and he's really chill, so we made it a very quick conversation. But some people just like didn't get it, and it's so hard to me
I
because
would
I
get
feel
in
like
front of
I'm lying to them.
I'd get in front of it. No, don't.
Yeah, because
Make
the
a
company,
decision.
I don't think it would be in their best interest, legally, morally, or profit-wise, to have a bunch of junk going on. They would suppress it to keep it at least where everybody's treated with respect throughout the company. This is a tough situation. They'll put the
I
presidential
could
speech
do that
in it.
job like 75% of that at home.
Yeah, I
I've
would-
already been thinking about that. I was thinking about just asking Lena, like, hey man, just let me come in at like 5 in the morning and deal with the gas monitors like 2 days a week. No one will even know I'm
And I
there.
believe that
And let me just work at home.
they probably made a statement on that, what'd you call it, OHP or
EAP.
EAP.
EEP?
They put out a notice today.
If they put that out and it says your confidentiality will be respected,
It has to be.
if that got leaked through an HR department and that got out after you told them something, that would not be good for.
Employment law is very strict on that
Yeah,
kind of
so
stuff,
I think you should just not attack it, but be proactive in it and snuff it, because
And what? Just go tell my boss, like, not what I told you guys, but like a summed up version of it. Like, hey,
Well,
my name is about to get released in the media, and there's a lot of stuff.
I don't know if I'd
it's
do
kind of-
that in that fashion. I might you just need to figure out a tactful way to do that. And perhaps in an employment, there is attorneys that deal with employment law, and maybe you want to reach out to one of them. That might help you. I don't know. It's a decision that you might need to make, or you might want to talk. I think I would talk to EAP first because it's not going to cost you any money.
See if they'll do something. I hope so, because they're not actually my employer. So
Well, they're an outside agency that just knows what's going on.
but
See,
both
I don't know,
both
so
companies, it would be in their best interest to protect everybody, including all the foremen he worked with, apprentices he worked with. I mean, all of those people have a lot of information too.
Not like me.
But again, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to have, they don't want to talk about it. They have the same rights. So it would be a company-wide thing. So I would just,
On the media
we'll
stuff,
work on that.
Yeah, I think you've got a grip on that. On the media stuff, for you, I wouldn't talk to the media. Just tell them you don't have any comment, and for you, probably the same. And if they just persist, maybe put somebody, things like your dad is your biggest confidant here, and maybe make a brief statement. If my daughter doesn't want to say anything, have a nice day, whatever. Because if you appease them a little bit, sometimes they'll go away. That would just be my suggestion. Don't talk to them. You don't need to.
I'm not going to. I guess they're going to make their own assumptions.
Let
You,
them
So does your neighbor, so does the
Right. They'll be talking as soon as they
stop at the
figure
red
out who
light.
you are. They're going to talk to your neighbor, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I saw Chris, and her together, whatever." You know what's going to happen. Just prepare yourself, and then it won't be.
Are they going to
there's
swarm my house?
No, I don't think so.
No, they were like swarming his. He told me that there's media everywhere, and it's just like, I hope that does not happen
Well,
to me. I
yeah.
mean, I have a safe house in Denver that I can go to, that I
There
have the
you go.
keys to, that has
That's what
nobody
we're-
there
that's what we're
ever,
thinking for the next
and it's
couple
all I have to
weeks.
do is check the mail. And there's no questions asked, and nobody knows where it is, and I'm not telling anybody, but it's like a really nice spot for me to like hide
there.
out, and I don't have any friends in that building. I mean, it's an apartment, but it's
And we
like
will
safe.
answer your phone calls, but the safe house is from
The safe house
Go there.
is the safe
people
house.
banging on her apartment
Well,
door.
when should I go there? When do you think all this is going to start happening? I mean, it's kind of.
I mean, it might be just good for you to go there, anyways, for your sanity, and stay away from this place that you had a connection to this man with, and get your thoughts in order.
It's
and
so sad. That was my nest. That was like such a warm little place.
That was
and
your-
now it's like I haven't even slept in my bed. I've just been sleeping on the couch with the dog.
So, a couple of things that come out of these 5 minutes or so are you can sort of hear both her father and Agent Kobach are sort of making suggestions, trying to be helpful, trying to help her in a way deal psychologically with what is happening, also go to a place of refuge. And what they're trying to do is find a way to help her and protect her. And she's anticipating a media storm, and they are seeming to think it's not very likely, that there might be some media, but it might blow over quite soon. I think the thing that they may have underestimated was actually the social media. But bear in mind, this is the 16th of August. It's only really 3 days into the whole thing. And so the social media aspect was only starting to pick up. I think I only covered the Sermon on the Porch the next day, something like the 17th. And so, that was really when it started picking up, when social media kind of cottoned onto this case. The other thing that I think is quite interesting, maybe not all of you are aware of this, but I actually put up a blog on Crime Rocket saying, is this the mystery mistress? And in a series of texts between Kobach and Kessinger, they actually highlighted that particular text. Sorry, they highlighted that the link to that blog that I wrote, where Kobach said, "Have you seen this?" And Kessinger said, "Yes, I have." They're grasping at straws. But the part that I just want to emphasize here is these two men that are talking to her are sympathetic and supportive. Why do you think that is? Do you think they are stupid? Do you think that it's because they are men and she's got them wrapped around their finger? Or do you think you know more about this case than what they do? And I've got to say, I've written about true crime, written many books about true crime. There are instances where law enforcement are naive and where they make mistakes. A good example is the John Benet Ramsey case, where you're dealing with a detective that is on her own and she doesn't really know how to deal with certain things and she makes certain mistakes. Do you think that that is taking place here? Do you think that this agent from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, who has been appraised, he knows what's going on with Chris Watts, he knows what happened during the previous interview, right? Chris Watts was interviewed already on the 15th, and actually at the same time that this interview was going on, which was on the Wednesday, he was actually confessing. But the issue is he had a lot more information to deal with, and they were right. They were right in their suspicions, whereas in terms of who did this, well, it was Chris Watts, right? In terms of the John Benet Ramsey case, it was a lot more complicated, and you could say, you know what, the police kind of made a mistake. You could even say Detective Steve Thomas made a mistake as well, although his mistake was understandable because it was grounded in, to some extent what the housekeeper said and the evidence. The thing is, even though Steve Thomas knew, didn't maybe make the right assessment in the end, I don't know whether a stranger can come to the case and say, I know better than Steve Thomas, I know better than the detective, I know better than law enforcement. And I think there are a lot of people in the true crime community that feel they know better than Detective Baumhofer, who holds nothing over Nichol Kessinger. They know better than Coda, Tammy Lee, and this guy. Because you are true crime experts, you know the discovery back to back, don't you?
We wouldn't want to do it.
What other questions can we answer before we go? I don't foresee talking to you again regarding this now. An attorney might review something and go, hey, can you ask her another question? And that would be a long ways down the line. I don't think there's anything else. I let you talk for a long time today to get it all out. So we don't have to do this again because I don't want to traumatize you again. But if there is important things that come up, please know that I do want to talk to you about those. Other things that we haven't talked about today, or if something I got to tell them. Just call me.
I mean, like, some things I thought were really important. Like, the other day, like, I didn't mention the wedding ring thing, and then I was like, that was really creepy. I should probably tell them about that.
And,
And you got those cards. I gave you those cards.
So you gave me cards and there was clothing in there.
Yeah, I don't care what you do with it all. I just don't
The
want
clothing, was any of the clothing anything he wore this weekend, or is it stuff that was from...
No. It was, like, stuff that he brought over, like, prior to that.
Okay.
None of that. Like, some of it's been washed and folded since then. Yeah, I just wanted it out of my house and didn't want to throw it away.
We'll
So
take
you
care of
guys
it.
can
We
deal
have
with
it. We'll take care of that. If I have questions on the context of a text message, I might just call you and say, how does this mean? Because I might not understand what you were talking about, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
If it's, I'm not going to bother you unless it's really important, because I think I have everything I need. from you today.
Okay, yeah, we just wanted to make sure you guys had it so that
Well, and we don't. I
you
don't
can find the right person or
yeah,
something
we don't
and
want
get
to do
it
it
done.
again. Yeah, and we know we have the right person, and I am sorry that you're involved. I am. It's never a good time to say anything like that, but it's a bad deal. This whole thing is, and this is one of the tougher cases that I think I've been doing this a long time. It's it's tough. So for you, it's even tougher. And don't forget to reach out to somebody for your sanity. Like I asked you downstairs a question, and you said no. You remember what question I asked you, right?
No. You know how many questions you've asked me
Did you want a
tonight?
pizza?
Well, hell,
Pizza.
I want
I
food
love
too.
pizza.
No, I asked you if you had any concern. I asked if I should be concerned at all about you hurting yourself.
Oh, no, I don't feel the need to do that. I
Right.
just want people to leave me alone. I
And
just
if
feel like
you-
I want to hide for a little while all
Just
of this
please
is happening.
reach out to your family or even me, and if you have any things that's struggling, like I told you, there's people I can put you in touch that will talk to you. I'm not a psychologist. That's not what I am. But people sometimes that get caught in these situations, they end up having lots of emotional issues, and you need to address them. Don't just hide that stuff. Okay.
All right. Are you guys
You
going to
seem
help
pretty
me if
super
we go?
super intelligent. So
I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. When we go to trial for this, if that's what he so feels the need to take this to, are you guys going to help coach me through these questions?
So we would be there to rediscuss our conversation today, the conversation you had with Mark, and then an attorney would talk to you prior to any questioning on the stand regarding what kind of questions they're going to ask you. And really the only thing you have to remember, if you're worried about your recollection or your recall or, how you might remember this, everybody worries about that. Even we do. We spend hours on the stand, and it's very difficult. But the only thing you have to remember is tell the truth. And the truth will never change in your mind. You know what happened during these 6 weeks. You know what happened on Monday and Tuesday. And as long as you tell the truth, then there's nothing to be worried about. If you don't remember something, you don't remember it. Might they pick on you a little bit about that? Absolutely. They usually pick on us a lot more than they do you guys. So, but that's so far down the road.
How long are we talking? How long
that
is this
could
whole
be,
process gonna
well,
take?
so he has the right to a speedy trial once he makes a plea, which is 45 days. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. I can tell you that the majority of the homicides that I work on average somewhere between 1 and 3 years.
Yeah, look at the clown
So
man.
I gotta just deal
with
with the
theater.
media, knocking on my door
You're-
like that for 3 years. 'Cause that's
This
big enough to
case
go
will
through.
be hot until the next, unfortunately, crazy case comes up. And you know it's true. I don't know if you watch the news. There's a reason I really don't.
Every week.
I don't.
But
watch
you
the
know
news.
there's something new every week that's the hot topic. This one might be hot for a week, 2, 3, whatever, and then something else is going to happen, and they're going to forget all about this one until it comes back to court, and then it's going to be revived if it ever does. I don't know what that he has all sorts of. He could plead. He could say I want to go to trial. I didn't do this. Whatever. He could say whatever. So it could be tomorrow. It could be 5 years. It just depends. There's a lot of things that can slow cases down.
Look at that theater thing. That was a whirlwind for, a month or so?
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, as soon as people started figuring out what that guy was all about, all of a sudden they started just man, he's weird. He was psycho. Look at him. And he just kind of just...
And then it
But I
petered
notice
off.
it shows
and then-
up every...
huge. That's a huge event.
Yeah.
Certainly
But it shows up every 6
unprecedented.
months or a year here.
Sure. You look at. I just.